Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of a different video today. We are talking to Daisha. Would you rather me show your video or would you rather re-explain?
I can re-explain it.
Okay, perfect. So I found her on TikTok where did the video go? I just had it up. 1 second. Okay, well you can explain it and I'll refine this video because I know I just had it.
Okay. So basically, I was born on 9/11. I was born at like 5:54 or 5 or something like that, California time. In New York, that's when all of this stuff was happening. Um, and so I saw this TikTok of a psychic saying that like you dream about your past life sometimes, and you could dream about like how you've died or like other things. So I had this dream that I was in a plane. I wasn't flying in New York in the plane. I was actually flying over the grapevine to LA. Um, but the plane crashed, and in the dream I died, and I kind of felt what it was like. And basically, like, there was like a dark tunnel. At the end of the tunnel there was a light. um and once I got closer to the light, I woke up. But my theory is that like maybe in the dream I saw that because that was me, like I died and then I re-entered life. I don't know. So
Okay,
now we're
awesome.
here.
Do you live near where you were flying over like in your
Yeah,
dream? Do you live near
I
that area?
do.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay, okay.
I
So
live
this
in
is the video
California.
right here. And I just wanted to show your account as well so everybody can find you. Come on, focus. Focus. Okay. DAISHAMONEA on TikTok. Okay. So as you were talking, I did flip over some cards. So I kind of want to see what story that paints. Um, so before I messaged you, I pulled a couple cards and I was getting this image of like an egg, almost like you have certain experiences in your life that you're not really lining up with this yet. But if you
Mhm.
start to put the pieces together, you'll kind of almost see like hints or clues beyond just that dream, almost like the dream was meant to be confirmation of other things. So I was kind of seeing it as like this egg that like almost like an egg in your mind of like a lost or repressed memory.
Mhm.
So it feels like something that you have that's in there that's accessible, but it's like you have to crack the eggshell to kind of get it
Yeah.
out. So maybe this will hopefully be part of the cracking of that eggshell.
Yeah.
All right. So we have the first card out is faked death, new life in reverse. So real death.
Wow.
And we have justice and karma in reverse. And these are all the cards that I pulled as you were telling your story.
Okay.
So we have real death and injustice.
Oh my God.
Desert mirage in reverse. So a mirage, you see it and it's not there. In reverse, you don't see it and it is there. Aliens, somewhere I don't belong. And seeing the signs here as well. So we have a real death caused by an injustice. Someone had the resources to do this and they did not belong. New
Wow.
World Order, one eye, one hand over the eye under real death. So, New World Order, that event, 9/11, really started to usher in a lot of changes. So, that's what that would be representing to me. We also have ego under justice and karma. So, what caused you an injustice was someone's ego decision. Legal proceedings in reverse under desert and mirage. So trying to avoid accountability in some way, not you, what caused the previous death. A political
Wow.
agenda being exposed. So we have a
Wow.
real death caused by an injustice. Someone had the resources to do it. They did not belong where they were causing this injustice. A lot of people turned a blind eye to certain pieces of it to usher in their own agendas. We have an injustice caused by ego, legal proceedings in reverse. It's like I'm trying to avoid accountability or I'm trying to cause chaos and a political agenda being exposed. So that's an interesting start. I'm going
So
to pull
does
a
that
couple of these.
confirm? Wow.
I feel like we're on that track. We have something that at least would be very similar. We have group living coming out, a tribe, a commune. We have healer coming out, which is kind of what I was picking up for you as well. Almost like a bigger mission that this was meant to kind of push through you. We have ritual sacrifice, Wild West, and I just knocked a bunch of cards on the floor. Oh, I see why that happened. Hold on. Deep state, red flag, female getting a message, ritual sacrifice, healer. Okay, I'm going to pull some cards to confirm what I'm getting from this. It feels as though there's this energy of the trauma of the moment. It almost feels like, how do I explain this? In the moments before you're passing in a previous lifetime, I'm going to use this deck. It's almost like your soul had a quick foresight into what was about to happen in enough time that your soul repressed the memory of the actual passing, almost like put it in that egg until you were ready to break the eggshell and utilize what was in the egg. Am I on the right track there? You're back on track. Okay, so yes. Is it fair to say that this is literally you beginning to remember your passing in the 9/11 attack? It's like you're starting to get bits and pieces of it. The pieces are starting to connect.
Oh my gosh. So something that's really interesting that I didn't mention in the video is in that dream, I remember like so I was in the plane and I was watching as I was about to hit the mountain. That's what it was. And in my dream at least.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm looking out the window, I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, I'm really about to die right now. Like this is crazy. And then but I
That's the
wasn't
foresight.
scared.
That's crazy. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, sorry,
I
that's the
wasn't
foresight.
scared. And I felt kind of like at peace. Like it was just like, wow, this is crazy. You know, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like I need to I don't know, but in the dream, I was just like, wow, this is crazy. And there was nothing else going through my head. And then, as like, once the plane hit and everything went black, I was so at peace and warm. And like, it's the weirdest feeling, but I don't really know how to describe it either. But I don't, I just kind of felt like it was warm and I wasn't sad. I wasn't angry. I was extremely at peace and I was just kind of like, okay, like what's next, you know?
Right. I think
Um,
that was you making the conscious decision with the foresight to put that in the egg. It's almost like when you put your feelings or any fears, like you held it within because there was like this kind of almost like you were being presented with a split second bigger purpose. Like, do you want to it usually I feel like when I'm seeing something like what I'm seeing now, it would be someone who kind of has a higher mission and has the chance to like continue to reincarnate or kind of be done. Okay.
mhm,
So it feels like you made this split second decision in that lifetime. Okay, I'm not ready to be done. I want to come back and use this in some way, like use what I'm downloading from this experience in some way to help the collective.
right.
That's what it feels like. And debt is the card that flipped out that we can see so far. And it feels like almost like you felt like you owed it to yourself to come back and use what you experienced back then. So
Hmm.
that feeling of peace is kind of like indicative of your soul being okay with the choice that it made. Okay, this is how I have to go out, but it's so that I can come in with a bigger purpose. So it feels like that's what I'm getting from that. I want to kind of
Yeah.
see what flipped over. Oh, hidden and missing key being revealed. Hidden and missing key being revealed is what you felt like you owed to yourself. I want
Hmm.
to pull a couple cards on that before I keep going. Why did you feel like that? Two of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Pick a fate, any fate. What did I just say? It's like
Yeah.
you chose. I was wondering why I felt drawn to use this deck. Pick a fate, any fate. This is kind of like not going down with the sinking ship. Like this, the ship is sinking, but I'm holding my footing. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. King of Wands in reverse. Queen of Wands. Oh, Queen of Wands, King of Wands in reverse. Vision, honor, leadership, ultimate masculine energy in reverse. Who is Sagittarius? No, who's a Capricorn to you?
My daughter.
Oh, your daughter, the one that you
Uh-huh.
just put down for a nap.
Yeah.
Have you ever had anything happen in this lifetime where you kind of had this like feeling of like previous connection with her? Like, would it make sense if I said to you that it feels like you were also her mother in that lifetime?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's fine if you don't know.
I've had these like, it's definitely crossed my mind, but that sense of like knowing like for sure, no.
Right. Okay. Because
Something that's really interesting that I wanted to point out is
mhm,
like um obviously I don't like know for sure, right? This is just like a dream and something that I've always kind of wondered and always been like a weird coincidence
mhm,
within like the topic of my life.
right.
Um and people under the video are saying, some people are saying like you can't reincarnate that fast, like it takes like thousands of years or hundreds of years. No,
No.
it's whatever like your soul think it.
Time only exists here. We
Right.
are the only ones who measure time in the way that we measure it, as in like
Okay.
humans, like currently living. So
Yeah, no, that
time
makes.
is totally different. There's no measurement of like years, months once you're not here. It's like
Hmm.
we created that system in order to measure comparisons, but that's
I will
not
say in the dream when it was black and when I was like dead or whatever, it was like 2 minutes. Like it was so quick that time. So I'm thinking like maybe it was so fast because I mean obviously the timing seems uh aligned.
right.
But yeah, I don't know.
That makes sense. It almost feels like you had okay, so we have the King and Queen of Wands here. King came out in reverse. Wheel of Fortune came out in reverse. It almost feels like you wanted to prove something to yourself for the sake of someone that you were caring for. So
Hmm.
that could definitely be your daughter. Um, 10 of Wands, that's the heavy burden. Who will carry the burden, is what it says on this card. Who will carry the burden? Like this feeling of like, I owe it to myself and to you to bring something full circle. What did you want to bring full circle? The Emperor and the Two of Wands in reverse. So we have Two of Pentacles upright, Two of Wands in reverse. It feels like a partner in that past life, because we also have the King of Pentacles in reverse, the Emperor in reverse. It feels like, or King of Wands in reverse. It feels like your partner in that lifetime didn't show up in the way you needed them to. And it's almost like you wanted to heal the wound caused by that in
Hmm.
not only you but those who were also affected. um yeah, it feels like that has a lot to do with it. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, it's almost like you came back to make amends for what you felt like you could have chosen differently, which you said you're a stay-at-home mom, so it feels like you're fully devoting yourself to, the energy of healing that wound. Let's see what that wound is.
Interesting.
Forgiveness blockages and inner child. Oh, that makes sense. So you're healing your own inner child that was wounded in that lifetime, that was never able to recover because a partner didn't show up for you in the way that they needed to, and they re-injured your inner child. you are learning to forgive yourself and healing your inner child by raising your daughter who's connected to you from the previous lifetime.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Am I on track with this? Let me see here. Heading in the right direction.
Okay.
And look, it's like two paths merge together. Okay. Do you have any questions or anything so far?
Um, no, I'm asking the questions as I think of them.
Okay. Uh, let's see. Let me get a little bit more info on like how that theme has shown up in this lifetime for you. I want to put in reverse. Or like what you're meant to do with what this experience is and like finding all
Yeah.
of this out or having it confirmed. What are you meant to do with it? Okay, so we have alive in reverse, which is interesting because that's the second time we got a death as the first card. It feels like that's the confirmation. Home safety is coming out in reverse. Digital. Almost like some kind of online platform because we have digital here. Some kind, almost like I don't know exactly what that would be depending on your interests, but it feels like something that you've experienced in this lifetime that's shown up because of the healing of that past wound is something you can help others work through in some way or be like a voice for. We have fire in reverse, revenge, affair, cheating in reverse, outside, out in the open. It feels like it has something to do with like relationships or like maybe like parent child
Mm-hmm.
different ideas or something in that effect. It feels like further healing your own inner child externally with whatever you're guiding others to. It feels like something on some kind of social media platform. It's kind of like almost like that's the how you bring this full circle and make sense of it. So I don't know if that's like telling your story in some way or like some
Mm-hmm.
kind of, you know, how this wound has shown up for you. So think like inner child wound, think like
Well, I
um
don't have like I don't have a relationship with my dad. Maybe that's
oh, that's the okay. So it feels like that could be the pattern, how the pattern has repeated. It's not a partner in this lifetime, it's a father. It's the same masculine wound, but it's from a different direction because in
uh
this lifetime you're healing from you're healing yourself from parenting.
yeah.
So it would make sense that that wound would kind of come from that direction as well.
Yeah, that
So it
makes
feels like
sense.
this is your lifetime to bring everything full circle,
Yeah.
which would mean that you're meant to do something, be seen in some way, kind of like put your piece of the puzzle into the collective almost, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
That does make sense. This
Let's
is all
see.
making sense.
Yeah, King of Wands in reverse is coming out now. That would be your, or Knight of Wands in reverse. Oh, we had King. Oh, that makes even more sense. We had King of Wands in reverse as the person from the past lifetime. And now we have Knight of Wands in reverse as the wound with your father in this lifetime. Passion, adventure, impulse, inspired action. It feels like other people were choosing things other than you, and that you had to learn to choose you despite anyone else's comfort in that. And that's kind of what brings things full circle and allows you to heal that wound. And then it's like that's kind of what you pour out for others. Um, yeah, we have the Three of Wands. So looking forward, the Fool in reverse, using your wisdom,
Mm.
take the step. You have left your castle and are now on your journey on a vast open sea, a place of doubt and insecurity, but progress is being made. It's
Mm-hmm.
like now you have the information and now it's figuring out exactly how you utilize that, I guess. But it feels like you're meant to be seen in some way.
Okay.
And
That's very
that's
interesting.
like the full circle bringing, yep, there's death in reverse. That's the full circle of the says this is the end and the beginning, and there's people running up what look like steps. Feels like that's what brings everything full circle. It's so it as you heal your inner child, you step more into the role of being seen and utilizing this experience to help the collective in some way, which brings your healing full circle as well. But I would definitely say that it feels like that's what happened. And that's even kind of like how I would imagine it. It's like you end one storyline and you run up the steps and get into the other one. And then this was in reverse. So it's like a rebirth. You know what I mean? It's like a
Yeah.
rebirth of where picking up where you left off, I guess I'd say. Like quite
Yeah.
literally.
That is so great. So something that I'm a little bit stuck on, it's not making sense to me. This is the only part, is you mentioned that like my daughter could have been connected to me in another life, in my past life. Not like, I'm young, so 9/11, happened almost 23 years ago.
Hmm.
Um so that means that if I had a child in that lifetime, they would still be here. I mean, God forbid if something happened, but um
It could be the case. Justice in reverse. Victory at what cost? Six of Wands in reverse. Four of Swords in reverse. Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles. Feels like you were together.
okay. We were
Three of Pentacles.
together on the plane?
That's what this would feel like to me because we have the same injustice coming out. And then we have the Six of Wands, which would be the lack of some kind of victory or some kind of loss. We have an injustice, a loss, teamwork. And then with the, what is this, Four of Swords? Four of Swords in reverse. We have an injustice, a loss, team effort or teamwork, and then a recovery. So it's like we experience an injustice together where there's loss and then end up back together.
That makes so much sense. That's
Hitting the
crazy.
bottom here.
Because my
Seven of
whole life
Wands
I've
in
kind of,
reverse. On the bottom it says trapped, but who is the monster? Like not like you two were trapped together.
right.
Loss. Who was the monster?
That's interesting. Because I've always kind of, because obviously I was probably young, right? When I
Let's
asked.
see. Let me see if I can get Eight of Cups. So it's the skull from death, and he's like looking at someone that's standing there in the moonlight. I feel like this person kind of looks to me like they would be in their 30s, is what I'm going to say. That's the immediate vibe I get from that person.
Okay.
How old are you right now?
I'm
Oh,
22.
20,
I'll be
22.
23 soon, in a couple, like next 2 weeks.
So I just said 30s. You're 22. 22 plus the 8 on the card gives us 30.
Hmm.
I would say somewhere in your 30s is what it felt to be.
That is so interesting.
Because
That
Eight
would
of
make
Cups
sense
is
though.
walking away from something unfulfilling. So it's almost like you didn't get to finish what you had set out in that lifetime.
Right. I've always kind of had this like knowing or not know. I don't know. I kind of sound crazy when I say stuff like this.
You won't sound crazy to me.
But I've always had a hard time grasping like being old. Not that I think I'm not gonna live until I'm old, but I've just always been like if you were to ask me like where do you see yourself when you're like 70 or 50, like I can't, it's so hard for me to imagine myself like that, and maybe it's like that for everyone, but that's something that I've always been, it's really hard for me to see that far. And same with my daughter, it's really hard for me to see. I don't know, I sound a little anytime I
No,
talk
that
like
makes
this.
sense to imagine her
Yeah.
like later in life. That would make sense,
Yeah.
especially if you passed early in your most recent lifetime
Yeah.
and you have that egg of memories that's in your consciousness or subconscious, it's like your deep subconscious is comparing that lifetime to this lifetime because it knows where you're
Right.
heading based off of why you had to go through that to be here.
Yeah.
So it's almost like this feeling of like it doesn't have that age to compare it to if you never got to that age in that particular lifetime. Not that you
Right.
didn't in other lifetimes, because I tend to believe that you had more than just that one. If
Mhm.
that was, if that kind of decision was something that you made in the end of that lifetime, it feels like that wasn't your first one. You know what I mean? But like if that's the one that your consciousness is comparing this one to, it would make sense that there's not that memory of that age. So you can't really shoot
That,
that
yeah,
far ahead.
it makes a lot of sense.
And that may be for a reason. Your life may start to kind of take twists and turns. It's like as you get puzzle pieces internally, they our external reality is a projection of our internal. So as you fill in the blanks internally, you get more experiences externally. So that could be as well why it's not really beneficial for you to be able to look that far ahead, because it's going to be changing drastically from what you would imagine right now, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes sense. This is all making sense.
Is there anything else that you need to know about this? They were young, healthy, wealthy, beautiful, free, and in love. It's the Tower until tonight in reverse. It feels like it was a path, it was a relationship in that lifetime, and almost like you felt like you owed it to yourself and your child in that lifetime to make things better in the next for you.
Mm-hmm.
Which would make sense, you being a stay-at-home mom. It's like you're fully devoting yourself to that without even recognizing
100%.
that that was the reason. Yeah. Is that Six of Pentacles? Oh no, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah. Some kind of ending of something so that something else can begin. The taking away of something so it can be replaced with something else. It just feels like this lifetime has left you kind of like little breadcrumbs that now are going to start to make sense.
Yeah.
Let's see if anything comes out with these. Things improving. Travel. Oh, a plane right on the middle.
Wow.
Things improving on this card, 5 to 10. So 5 would be one hand, 10 would be fingers on two hands. It's like things are starting to balance out. They'll start to make sense. Nuclear, powerful energy, a rocket. Let me see what that one was. Oh, home office den. So this confirms your foundation in this lifetime as number 4, your foundation being the home, a small crowd being you being a stay-at-home mom. Then we have the past lifetime, a plane being what ended everything, and now things improving. So it's like 5 is winds of change. So it's like the puzzle pieces starting to come together now that you have the information of both hands, if that makes sense.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. This
Yeah,
is
that's
so
kind of what I
cool.
wanted to do. I wanted to see if we could get the cards to kind of confirm as you spoke, and they did. They
Yeah.
definitely did. That's awesome. Do you have any other questions or anything?
No, I asked all my questions.
Okay. If you think of any, you can always message me.
Yeah, of course.
And I have the star flipping over as I said that. She came to Earth driven by an insatiable desire to continue the cycle of fertility. Is
Okay.
literally what we talked about.
I know.
You
So what I'm kind of getting from this is that like in in my last lifetime, um like the relationship with like was I not there for her as much because like of work and like things like that, or did we just like have a rocky relationship?
let's see. The moon in reverse. 7 of Swords in reverse. Knight of Pentacles. I would say there is okay, so you are not the one that the betrayal was coming from with the Seven of Swords being reversed. The moon in reverse, it's like you didn't necessarily see at the time how you kind of wished that scheduling could have been different. It doesn't feel like you completely chose something else, but it feels like looking back, you wish that you were able to devote more time. It also feels like you were doing that because of lack of support of a partner. So it kind of feels like it you're have this energy of like subconscious self-blame, never feeling like you're doing enough or feeling like in the past lifetime you made the choices that led to you having to work as much as you did or be away. So it it doesn't
So
feel
I was
like
like
you
a
were
single mom or
absent.
something.
No, it feels like you had a partner in this lifetime, but the partner was
So I was a
causing
married
you
single
to
mom.
yes, basically. Literally. No, that sounds very accurate actually. Um yeah, I have 3 of cups in reverse and the world in reverse. It feels like you had an absent partner that made you have to take care of things that I guess in your mind you could have thought something along the lines of if I would have chose a different partner, I'd be able to be there more for my kids. So it doesn't feel like it was you being like, "Oh, I'll do other things. I don't want to parent." It feels like you having to pick up the slack where your partner was lacking.
Yeah.
Um, and it feels like the being a stay-at-home mom is like the okay, look, I now I'm here all the time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So almost like you needed to show yourself that you could allow only the people in your life that would support you enough so that you could do what you needed to do to make up for what you felt like you did wrong in this lifetime.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like you were absent. It doesn't feel like you were neglectful. It doesn't feel like you were abused, anything like that.
Hmm.
Um, it just feels like your partner kind of dropped the ball and you had to pick up the slack.
Wow, that is so interesting because I have like my entire life always made it very clear to myself that I'm not going to have a child unless I know that I would be able to stay home and be with my baby and fully like take care of my kid. So this is all making so much sense. That's crazy.
Yeah, you definitely are completing your mission here. That she has everything a woman needs in abundance, and she's at one with the forces of all the mythical realms of the universe. Yeah, it feels like, and the Empress is a mother card. The Empress and the Queen of Cups are both like the mother cards here, but this
Hmm.
one has the web on it. So it's like the web of connection, how you're reconnecting, almost like there was this feeling of accumulated trauma in that lifetime that almost like because of the circumstances there was a limit on how much you could heal that trauma in that lifetime. So it's like your soul put you in a position to kind of rebirth or restart so that you'd
Yeah.
have the chance to be away from whatever was blocking you from healing back then.
Yeah.
um Almost it feels like an energy of like you weren't in your power in a parenting situation then because of someone else's hand, so you got into this situation and fully take your power back to make amends to yourself for that.
Wow. That is so cool. This is
It was
awesome.
really cool. I love that. Do you have any other
Um,
anything?
no, I can't think of anything.
Okay, let me
But
see what in what way would this wound kind of show up for your daughter, just so you can kind of be aware. Spiritual clarity, confusion. And there's that same skull and expression inhibition. So I would say to just be mindful of like as she grows, she may need, I guess, like help figuring out how, I guess, like her spiritual routine or like her spiritual health practices. There may be a need of guidance there that you can help with. And then
okay.
expression inhibition, making sure that like there's that open line of communication. I would say those are the ways in which the wound from that lifetime would show up for her in this lifetime. So just making sure that she's continuing to stay in flow with her emotions. Um, and just kind of like spiritual health wise, some guidance there,
Yeah.
essentially. But okay, are you cool if I post this
Yeah,
on
yeah, of
YouTube
course.
and stuff? Okay, perfect. I'll tag
Yeah.
your social media in the description as well. Thank you so
Okay.
much for this. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. You definitely answered a lot of questions and confirmed a lot of things for me.
Just a warning, you may start to get more intense dreams, or you may find that you're waking up either like sweating or like restless legs. That's kind of like you make space, you alleviate the questions, and it makes space for like new information to come in. So
Yeah.
just message me if you need to. But
Okay.
if you're having weird or intense dreams, nothing's wrong. It's just your brain can now make sense of what it needed more information to make sense of before.
I did just have a dream, like maybe 5 days ago, um, that my daughter was drowning and I couldn't like save her. We were like in a pool, but the pool was so, it was really wavy. I don't know how to describe. It was really hard to swim, and I accidentally let her go, and she like flew to the deep end, and so I like went to go try to like save her, and um, I couldn't swim to her. Like, you know, like when you're fighting in a dream and you can't.
Yeah, I can't hit a
It
punch or
felt.
anything.
It was
Yeah.
like that. It was like I didn't know how to swim, and like I was just watching her drown, and I couldn't save her. And that was really interesting to me. I have no. I looked up what that meant, but I don't know. It that was kind of crazy.
You want to hear something really crazy? I can tell you exactly what that means. That was to
Yeah.
confirm this reading before it happened. We have
Wow.
expression inhibition. Water represents emotions, especially in tarot. So, expression inhibition is I'm drowning in my emotions and I'm unable to swim. And clarity confusion is you saying it's like I didn't know how to swim. And it also has the skull on there and this person there. So, it's like you were trying to get to her and you couldn't. It's not that anything is wrong with her emotions right now. That just happened in the dream as to confirm
Wow.
what
I
to be
just got
mindful
chills.
of. Yes.
That's
As you were
crazy.
talking, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
And see how this is like a person and a mask, and this is like a person and a skull.
Uh huh.
Past life, this lifetime. It's like the same
Oh.
scene, different movie type energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the water represents emotion, so it's kind of like a confirmation of that's what to watch out for based off of this, how it shows up for her.
Interesting.
Yeah. How
Wow.
many you said 5 days ago the dream was?
Yeah. Like
That's
about.
interesting because I just looked down at my clock as you were saying that it was 5:55 p.m.
Wow.
because I'm in Jersey, so I'm behind you. That's
That
cool.
is so crazy.
I love
Well, I'm
that.
definitely gonna message you if anything else comes up because
Yeah, please do.
clearly my spirit is giving me all these signs and I just don't know how to read them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah,
I'll help you figure it out.
I will. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. I'll talk
All
to you
right.
soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.